hide! Look! It's Shadow! I really gotta stop whining. Everyone's trying their best to help out, and so must I! Shadow! We need you! Please help us!
It's all going according to plan. There's no reason for me to help them. Besides, there's no way to save anyone.
There has to be! I know that people fight over the most trivial things. Some people may be selfish, like the professor said. But they're basically good if they try their best and never give up on their wishes. They always have a reason to be happy. That's why you should help them out. Saving them is a good thing. Shadow, I beg you, please do it for them. Give them a chance.
Shadow, I beg of you, please, do it for me.
Maria!
A better future for all people who live on that planet. Give them a chance to be happy. Let them live for their dreams. Shadow, I know you can do it. That's the reason why you were brought into this world. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
I promised her, and I must keep that promise. That's what Maria wished for. I've got to go now. I have to keep my promise to Maria and you.
What's that? It looks just like the shrine of the Master Emerald.
They probably designed the core like the shrine to harness the power of the Chaos Emeralds.
All of you ungrateful humans who took everything away from me will feel
Knuckles, here
my
it
loss and despair. All of you ungrateful humans who took everything away from me will feel my loss and despair.
Could this be the prototype of the ultimate life form that was supposed to be encapsulated?
Leave this one to me.
Shadow, what are you doing?
I'll take care of this while you run to get the Chaos Emeralds!
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome to the final part of the Sonic Adventure 2 commentary. This is Shadow's older brother, the Biolizard, the first prototype, and indeed, well, the hardest boss fight in the game. Now, I say hardest boss fight in the game, but it's really just if you happen to lose a lot, and you will, you know, if you happen to be a little bit reactive on your controls. Not necessarily for the first phase, because how to defeat the boss fight is pretty easy peasy. See the giant life support tank right up there? Well, just ride the rails of its little oxygen tank, and, well, just lay the smack down. The problem, however, is that it gradually escalates time and time again, so it's, you know, eventually gonna get tired, but not after it unleashes a few attacks. And, that's pretty much all she wrote, really. It'll gradually shoot out some of these energy balls, then get a bit tired, and it'll start unleashing its third attack, and, yeah, while it's, busy chasing you around and, you know, opening up its, you know, scaly maw to disperse those little... What are they meant to be, actually? They're not Chaos, Spears, so... Chaos Blasts, perhaps? Well, maybe not in the traditional way that, Shadow uses them as an explosion radius, but... It's really the best I can think of. Yeah, while it's doing its little turnaround radius like this... Yeah, if you go too fast, then it'll pretty much try and attack you with its tail, so, yeah. You can't really escape, but one of the worst hazards you need to watch out for is, in fact, if you fall into some of the toxic sludge down below, because, yeah, given... excuse me. But yes, given Bernoulli's law of hydrodynamics, and since we have water flowing right now, you know, thanks to Knuckles and Rouge getting us in here to begin with, yeah, you will basically be sucked out of the colony, so, do be careful, don't land in the center pit, and don't fall off into the edges. And yeah, you should be relatively okay. Now, it's only really by the time we get to Phase 4 and 5 of this boss fight where things begin to get a little bit fucky, which should be right around, after the segment, really. Yeah, I mean, dodging these attacks, well, okay, provided that you know which ones to dodge. I mean, some are ground-based, others are up in the air, so, you know, alternate between jumps and somersaults, so this should be fairly easy-peasy unless you're a little bit, butterfingers, but... yeah. No more grinding up the rails for you, now you have to use your homing attack, where you do need to be very careful about how you position yourself. My biggest advice is, and again I did state this in the review, don't go hog wild with your homing attacks, just make sure that you maneuver yourself towards one where your targeting reticle won't be completely, you know, flip shit. Just make sure you go for some of the isolated spores that it launches off, and you should be okay. God, I'm so sorry. But yeah, the second thing you need to watch out for, and, you know, for Phase 5, and it's really only a bit of a pain in the ass because you can't collect rings if you happen to get hit, is that, well, you'll see when it launches you skyward, no platforms to speak of, no chance to collect rings, and it is going to be launching spores at you, so, yeah, by the time you do that, you have very little chance to survive, so, again, my recommendation for by the time you get towards, well, Phase 5, which we're going to be entering right now, is it just completely starts to freak out a little bit. Make your way over there as quickly as possible, and completely avoid the spoils. Spoils?
Yeah, completely avoid the spoils. Causes shadow damage.
Then you get the final hit in, and it should be okay. But yeah, the other big salient pain in the ass of this boss fight is that if you happen to fail, you gotta do all those lengthy phases again, and, well, it gets a bit Sonic Superstars up in here.
Servers are the 7 Chaos. Chaos is power. Power is enriched by the heart. The controller is the one that unifies the chaos. Only you can do this. Stop the Chaos Emeralds! Is it gone?
Is that what chaos control is?
Since we've stopped the Chaos Emeralds, why is the space colony still on a crash course to Earth?
Still alive. He's controlling the space colony as it falls to Earth. He's one with space and is determined to keep on its course.
Sonic?
Oh, hell yeah. The final hazard. You have only 5 minutes to complete this boss fight, and as you gradually get closer to the Earth, well, the red vapor trails begin to show, and, yeah, basically that's all the time you have before this colony crashes into the Earth. And, well, everybody's pretty much screwed. Everything is online, hit the growing sister on this thing's body, and make sure you take this thing down. Sadly, however, you are going to miss a few cool lines of dialogue, like Shadow relenting that he thinks Sonic is the ultimate life form in lieu of himself, so... yeah, respect between our two opponents, and, this is just a really cool fucking boss fight. And, again, despite the many boss fights in Sonic that have come, you know, in the years since, this one still tops it for me. I mean, if I could talk about boss fights in terms of its epic scale, it's still, you know, Adventure 2, Sonic and Knuckles, the Final Horizons DLC for Sonic Frontiers with that game's final boss fight. And, yeah, that's pretty much my top 3. No, I'm not really being very informative at the moment, but my god, man, the stakes have never been higher, and it's just a great crescendo to end the game on. Again, being in your super form, again, you don't take damage, so you can't technically get hurt, but you can be knocked back by the laser beams and spores that the Biolizard launches off from its body, so yeah. I mean, you are gradually losing rings, which is pretty much your timer to go between Sonic and Shadow, so yeah, if you can't get a hit on it, just go towards the other side of the screen, switch between, you know, Sonic or Shadow retrospectively, and by the time that's all done, well, yeah, you'll be one step closer to defeating the boss. But time's running out, and we have an epic theme to boot. Live and Learn, the main theme of Sonic Adventure 2, a great song and one that I certainly hope is played in its original form in the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. I mean, again, I don't really have a lot of, like, high-on expectations for the Sonic movies, but the one I do have for Sonic 3 is that they play the original Crush 40 song, you know, in theaters, because hearing that with a cinematic soundscape would be fucking immaculate just to see that in theaters. I mean, the trailer of the Sonic 3 movie did technically have the whole, like, orchestral version by Junkie XL. So, I mean, there is that, but, you know, we gotta get those rockin' guitars, those Johnny Gioeli vocals in there. But, yeah, all that aside. Great finale. Does make me curious if we're gonna see anything like this in the final Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, but yeah, I can't really say for certain. But in terms of Sonic Adventure 2, the game ends on its highest note, and, you know, despite the trouble that you might have getting to it from the Biolizard with its difficult boss fight, the game ends on just such a great fucking note. Great music, great atmosphere, you know, I mean, boss fight may not exactly be the most difficult one ever conceived, but, you know, it does still have its points, and see, look, the atmosphere is growing red. We're struggling. But unfortunately, we're a little bit too close to Earth's atmosphere. We have to save the day. We won't last. But don't worry, our 2 hedgehogs will succeed. Oh yeah, and by the way, you do also get an ending quote if you finish the boss fight with Sonic as Shadow as well, so yeah.
No way that's getting through!
Shadow, I beg of you,
Maria!
give them a chance to be happy.
Now, Shadow! Chaos Control!
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.
Where is Shadow? Do you really think that the professor created him, Shadow, to carry out the revenge on all those who live here on Earth?
He was what he was. A brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save this planet. Shadow the Hedgehog.
I guess you're right.
As a child, I looked up to my grandfather because of all the great things he accomplished in his life. He was my hero, and I wanted to be a great scientist like him. But did he really mean to destroy us?
I don't know, but what I do know is we all did it together!
You're right.
So what's next for you, Rouge? Off again to find those jewels you love so much?
Nah, I think I'm gonna give up this line of work. Too much work for too little pay. Anyway, I've got something better than jewels that I'm thinking about right now. It'll all work out, you'll see.
If you say so.
Created the ultimate life form.
What's the matter, Sonic?
Oh, it's nothing. Come on, let's go home! To the planet as cool and blue as me! Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
It's all over. But yeah, that was Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure 2. Well, Sonic Adventure 2 as it's known in Europe. Yeah, everything that I have to say about the game I've already said in the review, so I won't, I won't repeat myself, but yeah, if this commentary and, how much fun I was having all throughout, if you could tell with my jovial tone, that pretty much tells you everything I need to know. I love this game, it's action-packed, it's energetic, it's got a great story. A lot of cool characters, I enjoy the gameplay even in spite of some of its deficiencies here and there, and really, when it's all said and done... I mean, again, it's saying something where in the same year that I had a fucking 2-hour-long review that I spent years slaving over the script and jokes and pacing and everything, that I still have a lot of fun doing the commentary and can still find a lot of things to talk about. Sonic Adventure 2 is, along with Silent Hill 2, one of my favourite games of all time. They both compete for the #1 spot, much like Sonic and Shadow themselves. Again, much like how Silent Hill 2, is a game I usually play when I'm feeling in one of my darker moods, Sonic Adventure 2 is a game that I can enjoy both when I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling hyped up and just wanting something fun to play. So, yeah, all I really have to say. In terms of any future commentaries, well, again, assuming that it's not already in progress after the Devil May Cry commentary, yeah, next time in terms of commentary land, we are going to be playing Futurama the video game. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Kind of, sort of a compliment to the Simpsons Hidden Run that we also did much earlier in the year, so... On that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I hope you enjoyed Sonic Adventure 2 as much as I did. Catch you dudes and dudettes next time, and I'll see ya later.